Where were you in the morning of Saturday, June 22nd, 2024? It was just a normal early morning start on pay-per-view. Everybody was tired, everybody was alert and awake if they took a nap, or some people decided to eat a chalupa from Taco Bell and suffer for the rest of the night. The fact remains, the clown beat a rookie, Hanan was denied the goddesses, and a bunch of other bullshit I can't remember. And yet, it led up to this. An elimination 10-woman tag between the hatred rivalry of Oasis Tai and Queen's Quest. Beyond the surface, everything looked to be great, Oasis Tai was running its course, and Queen's Quest is looking for another era, all led by the Golden Phoenix Sai Kamitani due to departing for Marigold. So the fact remained, was it the right choice to end it? Let's recap. Miyu Amasaki and Lady C were eliminated first, and then Hina took over and eliminated her twin sister Irina. Hell yes. And then she too got eliminated. Hell no. And then from there, Porozumi had to do it herself. Raka eliminated, Tekla eliminated, she eliminated Momo Watanabe, and yet she eliminated herself, leaving Kamitani as the only one from Queen's Quest left, and having to tackle the issue of Tora. It seemed alright, one-on-one, leader versus leader, and yet a Black Peach decided to appear. And it looked like she was about to hit Kamitani, and so she stopped herself when Tora got in line. And she still whacked her. And everyone in the VC was like, hell yes! Face Momo Watanabe is coming back. Red belt for sure. White belt for sure. We are coming back, y'all. Look at her do a double D take with Sai Kamitani. Hell yes! And then it led to the moment of the chair. Once again, if y'all remember, she hit Azumi, poor Azumi, to cause the heel turn in the rift between Queen's Quest and Oasis Tai. She was aiming the chair for Tora, and she went right. She hit Kamitani. Tora just picked up the pieces and swanton for the 1, 2, 3. Queen's Quest was dead. Everybody in the call was crying, weeping, sobbing. Why, Okada, why? And yet in the end, a year later, it was the right call. And now we get to the flux of things. Where are the former queens at a year later? Full disclaimer, breaking the fourth wall here. This was originally supposed to be an article piece on my Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/HenrikJCS10, chill. But unfortunately, my notes app glitched out somehow and wiped out everything. Ko-Fi articles, all that stuff, just gone, even the new articles. So, no wonder they tell you to do it on Google Docs, so going forward. But I still have the reference notes, so I will be referring to those on my clipboard. Of course, we begin with Lady C. As with her and Hina, they were picked up as refuge from God's Eye. And joined, after filling out the process, they're like, you know what? Let's judge the God's Eye. It's our home anyway. She loses a qualifier to Amasaki. More on her later. Failed to capture the New Blood titles with Yagami, so we almost had gold there. Come on, bro. The C stands for champion. Tag team with Hina as Team Classroom as part of the tag league. Don't tell me how many points they got because... And then we fast forward to Kurikan in the springtime, and she had a standout performance with her tag team partners, her trios that is, and delivered a performance for the artist belts that she failed to capture against her former stablemates of Azumi and Amasaki and Starlight Kid. And literally we thought this was it. This was the moment she's got to be pushed to the moon. She's going to be pushed everywhere. She is going to be Lady Champion, at least for a tag team title between New Blood or Artist or whatever, because you're not getting the belts of Hanan. I swear to God. But unfortunately, a few days later, she loses to Amasaki in the first round of Cinderella's, literally under 3 minutes. What are we doing here, people? And she still remains low card fodder, mid card at least. But she did have a side quest with Tajiri. Even though with Tajiri and Ultimate Dragon, like, huh? I'm just saying, she busted out a buzzsaw kick. You know where she got it from, and please push her. Oh, Hina. You're a champion, and yet they still disrespect you. I'm looking at you, awesome. Of course, as Lady C, she pretty much joined God's Eye after the feeling out process. She loses to her sister Rina for the Futures belt, which, would be a downer, but she'll get another chance at the belt soon. As mentioned, her tag league with Lady C, 4 points, move on. And then later down the road at Path of Thunder, ... and Rock and Roll, Matt Turner! How you doing? She put out a performance in her hometown and everything. And Amasaki did everything she could, and yet Hina did a frog splash on the top rope. 1, 2, 3, finally captured some gold. I am excited as hell, baby. Yes! And we fought from there like, hey, she's in the Cinderella. We have a CMLL talent there. Maybe she's not probably here for the world for a long time. So let's just give her a second round win. She's currently 0-2. What could go wrong? She loses in the first round as champion. Are you kidding me? Okada, man! Okada! But don't worry, she beat Tabitha for her first defense. And then recently at All-Star Grand Queendom, she would defeat Yagami, her stablemate now. And she's currently 2 defenses. And as of when I wrote this, 100 days as champion. So she passed triple digits. You doubters are doubting wrong, baby! Down! Bow down to your former queen. Wow, I am too excited. It is 9 p.m. But of course, when you put them all together, Lady C and Hina have been, low card and mid card. At least Hina got a championship, but she's still not defending the belt that much in New Blood, which I don't get. And also, Lady C has been, that stand on Korakuen could last a while. It's already past that moment, and certainly, I already forgot it. So the fact is Lady C gonna get pushed? Maybe, maybe not. They already got their giant in Hanako, so that does put things murky a little bit. And with Hina, give her time. It's the summertime. She'll be in more shows, but after that, she's still attending college. So, yeah, I would love to see Kuroro get a belt. But not at the expense of awesome. Hell no! Then we get to Miyu Amasaki. As always, she and Izumi took refuge, but literally with a new group with Starlight Kid, Mei Sierra, and Suzuki. They had a feeling out process as always, and then later on they confirmed their allegiance. And sure enough, on the Stardom Wonder Rendezvous, they would debut together as Neo Genesis. And they would be the team of stars, so another Hanan L, what are we doing? She would qualify for the 5-star after going to the first round and the final round, as mentioned, beating Lady C, but unfortunately she only managed to get 3 points, so... After that, she would beat Rina for the Futures belt, so literally ending the world historic reign of the Pink Devil. So that was actually pretty neat. She and Izumi tag team for the Tag League, more on that later. And then later down the road, they would capture the Artist belts from the Cosmic Angels, literally making her and Starlight Kid double belt champions. You see why there's a problem with Izumi, more on her later. Speaking of the Futures belt, she would defend it 3 times before dropping it to Hina at Path of Thunder, as we mentioned before. And then later on, she would go to the Cinderella tournament, beat Lady C, but unfortunately, her reign of terror ends there as the reigning Cinderella Hanan would defeat her in the second round. So, another W for Hana FC. Let's go! Recently, she defended the belt in a 3-way, which, fun fact, only happened twice. I forgot who the first match was, but the second one is this one. And with that stat line, that makes her the 3rd successful member of the former Queen's Quest, so who could be top 2? It's easy, it's just the placement is a little different. Izumi, AZM. She could do no wrong, even after her stable got destroyed and demolished. A stable that she was meant to lead, but no! As mentioned with Amasaki, feeling that process, confirmed member, Neo Genesis, New Era. For her 5 stars, she went all the way until she eventually got tied because of her draw and a count out. So they literally had to put her in a 3-way to determine who will actually move on to the playoffs between Tomoka Inaba and Mei Sierra. Literally a 3-way of 2002 people. Team 02 keeps winning, baby. I swear to God. She would eventually win that spot, but unfortunately, she ended up being in the path of a unbeaten Maika, as she will lose in the quarterfinals. But we move on to January, the biggest match of her career. Her versus Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's Championship in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom 19. With the looming departure of Iwatani, it feels like this was the right time to put the belt on Izumi. Considering she would be carrying the company, especially with the youth process. But it wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. Iwatani would beat Izumi in front of thousands in the Tokyo Dome, leaving poor Izumi, with tears on the pathway on the way to the back. So, sucks. But don't be too sad about her, because a month later at Supreme Fight, as mentioned, she did capture the Artist belt, but Starlight Kid and Amasaki became double champs. And she wasn't. maybe it's time to chase for some singles gold. And that's what she would do, as later on at All-Star Grand Queendom, she will fight for the white belt. But again, it wasn't meant to be, because despite Azumi having her number many, many times, Starlight Kid would reverse it, and she would pin Azumi for the win, and Azumi once again went out of championship. Dang, you must feel for Enigma. Don't fret, because weeks earlier, she did have a match with Mina Shirakawa for the #1 contendership for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship, and it ended in a draw. So another three-way, baby! Holy hell, Azumi! She will travel to Ontario, California for her versus Mina versus Monet for the championship in front of thousands of people. Or 1,000 of people. I have no idea. It's a Toyota Arena, man. Without a shadow of a doubt, she did not pin Monet, because that is AEW's problem. But she would pin Mina, which means Azumi finally captures a singles championship. Finally, after 2 years since her high-speed belt, she captures the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Is it the belt that we imagine her to win? Hell no. But is it better than having no belts? Yes. Wow, look at that. All the things we mentioned here, literally for every single wrestler. Gee, I wonder where our lady is here. And oh yeah, look at all these accomplishments. How about that, huh? Saya Kamatani, Golden Phoenix, Phoenix Queen, literally had the best year of her freaking life. After the dust settled, she picked up her flag and carried it to Wave, as she still had to do another tournament. With the momentum on her side, she will win the Catch the Wave tournament and grant herself a championship opportunity over there for the Regina de Wave Championship. But unfortunately, that will be the last time the Golden Phoenix did something remarkable, because on the night of the World Rendezvous, she will lose her high-speed title to May Sierra. And we thought, all right, she lost the belt, time to make her the most popular star, the most popular babyface in Stardom. Oh, how naive we were. She will show up in the match between Micah and Tora and literally backstab Micah, causing it to make a heel turn for the ages. And of course, she will pledge her allegiance to Hideo Tai, or, as Tora said, rebrand it to hate. She would do the 5-star tournament, but due to her new character, it would be a little shaky. Like, literally her match with Tekla literally got dragged to the mud. Nobody liked it. Nobody thought this character was gonna work. We're just wasting Kamatani's time, and yet she does well in the 5-star. Bam, quarterfinals. Bam, semifinals. Who does she meet? Micah, the person she backstabbed. Unfortunately, she will lose that match, as Micah will go undefeated for the first time in 5-star history. As aforementioned, she would win the Reina de Wave Championship in Korakuen Hall. So one championship down, maybe more to go. In a month, she would beat Tam Nakano and crown herself the World of Stardom champion in Dream Queendom. And here we go. She would defeat Suzuki for her first defense in Supreme Fight in Korakuen Hall. And then we go on the roller coaster that is the Tam and Saya feud, where a loser leaves Stardom, Tam Nakano takes the pin, and Saya banishes hers to the outside world until Okada saves her with a freelance contract. Of course, everybody rags on the feud. Yes, it has its problems. Yes, it's story-driven. I don't give a damn. And then finally, All-Star Grand Queendom. Saya Kamatani pins Tam Nakano and literally sends Tam to retirement. As Tam says, "You have my curse now. I hope it haunts you in your dreams." As of recording, she has defended the belt one more time in Korakuen Hall against Sayaka Kurara. So after all of that, who would have thought the person that got pinned, the person who cried, the person that we thought the heel turn wasn't going to work and was going to sink the company, turned out to be the best successful person after the match? But it really makes you think sometimes. Without the split, where could have the Queens gone? Yes, we probably would have had a Saya Kamatani red belt reign, but it probably would have been the same old story and dance with the white belt, and people might call that stale. We'd probably be more frustrated with Azumi not being leader than focusing on the stuff that she's been doing so far, especially with her new group. Amasaki would have been still having the nickname of Kevin if she didn't change her look or anything like that, and she was still being a little bit conservative. Maybe Hina actually quits wrestling and actually goes and have a successful career outside of it. And for Lady C, maybe stays the same. Look, they just gotta treat Lady C right. Like, I know Hanako is your big giant, but come on. The fact remains, the call was made right to split Queen's Quest. Because now we have Neo Genesis. We have the run that is hate. We have people in God's Eye that are literally teaching them still, but yet they're training them for the better. What will year 2 be? I don't know, but I'm excited. And yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys loved it. If you hated it, fine. Just tell me, because I do take feedback. So, but yeah, I'll catch you guys later. And until then, where were you when the world stood still?